So welcome, this is Gaiaps. This is going to be a let's play of a video game Beyond the Titanic, a text and sound adventure fantasy. And this is an Apogee software program done by Scott Miller, as you can see. This is one of the first of two games that he made in 1984, 85-ish. It must have been 80 or 85, 86-ish, I'm not sure. So this game and the other game that he made, which is a space game, were both done before he pioneered the Apogee shareware system, which essentially this game was shareware, and then he asked you to contribute some money after if you enjoyed the game. So what that means is nobody paid him. His games subsequently were the first games where he would release a chapter or two chapters of the game, like two levels, and then you would hit a paywall and it would be like, well, did you like this? You can send me $10 and I'll send you the rest of the game. So this game doesn't have that. It's entirely shareware. And then his subsequent games would have pioneered the shareware chapter system. So I'm really excited that a quote unquote Titanic game was one of the first games that really disillusioned Scott Miller into starting a different shareware system. So let's press any keys. So the next thing we should... Okay, so here we go. Please note that Beyond the Titanic is a shareware game. This game has been placed in the public domain for your enjoyment. If you like the game, the author asks that you please contribute $5 or $10 to him. This minimal payment will help compensate the author for years of work that went into this game. Oh, here's the other game. Supernova was the other game. So Kingdom of Croc had like 90 levels or something, and he really didn't want to put it out there as a full game that people could just play and not pay him because it took so much work. Which, I mean, I don't think any of these other games didn't take work either, but you can see logically where he could release 10 levels and say, oh, you want the 80 other levels, you have to pay so much money. So that's how the Apogee shareware system was developed. Press any key to start the game. So here we are. So how this is going to work, I'm going to read all the text and type in play the game basically. I've played through this a couple times. It's both at times a very fun and easy to figure out text adventure, very logical, and at other times like completely mystifying and just like totally difficult. Like the difficulty spikes are really, and they're less spikes and more bottlenecks. Like you'll just get to a point you're just like, what do you do? And it's this really obscure thing that you'd never figure out on your own. So yeah, so I'll just be reading through the text. I was just gonna play through it and do a little bit at a time, and then I realized that how boring that would be. So we're going to do it this way. So, April 14th, 1912, 11:43 p.m. You never knew the black canvas of the night was so full of twinkling detail. Standing on the deck of the White Star Line's new super luxury liner, deep at sea, where the bright lights of San Francisco don't fade the night, you can view thousands of stars you never realized existed. Looking out over this icy sea, you can barely see small pieces of broken ice bobbing in the water. Rumor has it that icebergs the size of small mountains can be found in this region. You don't feel too worried, though. The Titanic has been touted as unsinkable, and every passenger knows the Titanic, the premier shipbuilder, knows their stuff. Ships 4. You are standing near the front of the Titanic on the starboard deck. To the east, a wooden rail follows the curve of the ship. Behind you, to the south, are the sounds of a wild party. The misty breeze parts your hair in an awkward place and carries the message of an icy ocean. As you gaze at the stars, you discover that the rail serves well as a place to rest on. So... Casino Hall. You have entered a large hall filled with blackjack tables, one-armed bandits, and roulette wheels. To your left, a large crowd of people have gathered around a well-dressed man who appears to be on a hot streak. You decide that this isn't your idea of entertainment, so you walk back out onto the deck. I'm just going to start typing with letters because I'm lazy. Ship mid-deck. Standing at the middle of the starboard deck, you can barely view both ends, which leads east and west from here. gently curving inward. In front of you are several lifeboats, each held in place by a thick rope. Above and behind you is one of the ship's mammoth smokestacks, releasing clouds of white smoke into the night sky. Rear of the ship. This end of the ship is dimly lit, allowing you to make out several new star clusters. A large stack of misplaced cargo blocks your path to the east. Written on one of the crates is a faded message. To the west, you can still see numerous lifeboats hanging along the side of the Titanic. There's a knife here, with its point buried deep in one of the crates. A bright yellow shooting star streaks across the blackness and fades away. Take knife. With a small tug, the knife comes loose. Knife is taken. Kablog! The Titanic lurches sideways as a teeth-grinding sound rips across the side of the ship. You suddenly realize that the ship has struck an iceberg, even as you think the huge vessel tilts and stutters, sinking lower and lower into the icy black ocean. Crowds of people rush from every exit in a mad panic to escape the danger. And this is totally how it happened. So we're gonna, not do that. We're gonna read examine note. In ragged writing, the note reads, Miller was lost here. A couple of passengers rushed past you looking for a boat to climb into. Alright, examine knife. We're gonna be kind of duncy. You see nothing special about the knife. Alright, so west. So this is just the same. Standing at the middle of the starboard deck, you can barely view both ends, blah, 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 releasing clouds of smoke into the night sky. So we're going to get into the lifeboat without being hassled by a lightoller. You are within one of the many wooden lifeboats along the side of the ship. A single thick rope secures the boat to the Titanic. You can still walk across the steps to the south to get back onto the great ship. A small red kit is built into the side of the boat just beside the first bench. Cut rope. You saw the rope feverishly until, twang, it snaps under the weight of the boat. The boat plummets down to the ocean surface, impacting with a huge splash. A previously unseen safety harness breaks loose from under a bench. Ocean surface. You are in a wooden boat, floating on the icy, cold ocean. A survival kit is built into the side of the framework. There is a safety harness here. Where harness? The safety harness is now secured firmly around your waist. A spout of hot steam forms a glowing cloud in the sky as the Titanic disappears below the ocean's surface. In the distance, you can barely hear the voices of other passengers who made it safely off the ship. So that's the end of the Titanic. I hope you weren't incredibly attached to this being a Titanic game, because that game has now ended and it is no longer about the Titanic. All right, so let's continue. Open kit. Survival kit is opened. Examine kit. The survival kit contains these items: a banana, a flashlight, a rope. In the distance, you hear a new sound, a low rumbling as eerie as the night. Take all. Banana is taken, flashlight is taken, rope is taken. The gurgling sound grows louder. All right. I guess I could examine all these things, but I think it's just going to say, that, are you stupid? But we'll pass the time. Examine banana. The banana is unpeeled. You now sense new ripples in the water, rocking your boat slightly. Examine light. The flashlight is waterproof. There is a steel ring on the back, like a hook. The flashlight is off. Examine rope. It's about 30 feet long and made of a durable twine. Your lifeboat is now rocking violently from waves caused by an unknown force. You can hear a loud gusher sound in front of your boat, which sounds much like a waterfall. Up ahead, you see a section of the icy water that appears much darker than the surrounding area. All right, we're just going to wait through that. Time passes. With a great pitch forward, your boat is swallowed by a huge swirling whirlpool. Oh no! As you enter the spinning vortex, the great centrifugal force presses you against the bench. You finally pass out due to overwhelming pressure. Several hours later, you wake up. Your boat, however, has vanished. Oh boy. So we're gonna stop off here. Come back for episode 2 if you want to find out what is in the huge cave. So thanks for watching, and this is Skyups saying goodbye.